Welcome to the Fitness Oracle Daily Show. I am your host, John Katsavos, and today is Throwback Thursday, and we're going to go into my past and talk about the second time I lost VO fitness. Now, back in February of 2023, let's go a little bit further back. Back in July of 2012, I was in transition from working from a gym to working to my in transition to from working from in a gym to seeing clients at a personal level. Like I was seeing them outside the gym. I was introduced to what would have been my wife, and in July of 2012, things were going great. Sorry, June of 2012, because we met, and then she went to Greece for a month, and then when she came back, we really started to form that relationship. So we were it was going great up until, say, Canadian Thanksgiving. Up until then, things started to really slow down. So I was having problems with my relationship with this woman, with this girl. I was having problems, and that affected my problems, trying to find clients to bring into through the door. So the business started to taper, the relationship started to taper. Um, Christmas came around, and we had made a promise to ourselves that we wouldn't buy each other gifts. That was one, because I didn't want to fall into the trap of, this year I bought you something, next year I have to go buy you something better. I didn't want, and I didn't want her to fall into that trap either. And we both agreed not to do that. But she ended up buying me a gift, which angered me because she's not following what we planned. Like, this is not what we agreed on. Why are you doing this? Oh, I just felt like it was something I needed to do. We ended up going to up north. We ended up going up north to Collingwood for New Year's. We were going to spend New Year's together in Collingwood. It's up about 2.5 hours north of Toronto. And on the drive, we had a really good conversation of, how are we going to move this forward? And, we need to listen to each other. We need to pay attention to what each other is saying. It was really good conversation. But it was like talking to a wall, because whatever I would be telling her, she would agree with me and then not do it, not follow through with it. New Year's came and went, and then when we came back, I could just start to feel that, the relationship wasn't going where it was supposed to go. She kept asking for more and more and more and more. My business was doing terrible. I was starting to lose customers. There was no new customers coming in. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And it ended up to the point where I actually told her, you know what, I need to find a second job, because I can't afford to do all this by myself. She was working. If she was working part-time. At the very best case scenario, she was working part-time. So she was bringing nothing to the table, but she was asking for everything in the world. And when January left and February came in, that was supposed to be my busy time. I just moved in. I just moved into a studio, and I was saving for her ring. I had more stuff that she was asking for me to do in order to, quote unquote, move the relationship forward. Plus, I had no customers coming in. I was just moved into a studio. My customers didn't like the fact that I moved from one gym to a studio, because I had moved them from a gym to another gym to now I'm going to move them to a studio within less than a year. They were not happy with that. She didn't want to understand that. f- Valentine's Day came, and because of all the expenses that I was having with no support from anybody, I bought her this little charm from what was that place that she liked? I don't even remember. These really expensive little charms that you put on the bracelet, the bracelets. I don't remember what it's called. It's not important, anyways. Um, she just looked at it and she's like, "Oh, that's it." I'm like, "Yep, that is it. No more." And she's like, "Well, thanks." I'm like, "Wow, you are thick, girl. You are thick. Like you don't even understand that." We had dinner, dropped her off at home. I drove off on Valentine's Day. She was expecting a little bit more, but I'm like, nope, that's it. I did not call her for a week. She was calling my phone like crazy. I would not answer. I wouldn't respond to her text messages. Nothing, nothing. I removed her from my Facebook, removed her from everything that I had with Facebook. And a week passed. I called her up. I'm like, we're done. We are done. There's no more moving forward between you and me. You're too thick. You don't understand my where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to do. You're asking the world from me. I can't give it to you. So you go find somebody who can. And that was hard for me. Harder than I thought. Because that was in March and I had just lost my business. I lost it. I couldn't afford to pay the next month's rent. So I packed up my things, whatever little things that I had in that studio. I packed them all up and went back to my house. Moved back in with my parents because I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do this. And I called up the security company that I was working for. I'm like, I need to do this full time. Put me on full time. Only condition is I only work nights because I was working as I still had some clients that I was seeing. Uh, and I was seeing them throughout the time that I was working as a security guard, but I wasn't happy. I was had maybe 3 clients. I went from almost 20 clients to 3 in a matter of a month. In a matter of a month, I went from close to 20 to 3 clients. So that had a really bad negative effect on me. And I did my best to hide it from my clients because they're not paying to see a depressed personal trainer that's working nights and trying to scratch out a living. But I'm sure that they could see it. I mean, I'm not that transparent. I'm not that good at hiding my feelings. And for the it came to the point where I said, you know what, I can't do the training anymore. I can't do the training anymore at this capacity because I don't have the time. I don't have the effort. I don't have the energy to keep going. I have no help from anybody. So I fell into a little bit of a depression for about 2 years. And the people in the building that I was patrolling, they hated me. There was a couple people that liked me. Um, a couple of people that I opened up to, and they really, 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 really wished me the world and that for me to get better. But the majority of the building, they hated me. I hated myself, so how could they like me? Didn't open up to them. I didn't care. Just let me do my job and I'll do it properly. I'll do it good. You're not going to like it, and I don't care. The point where some of them were afraid of me, that I would get them kicked out. And I didn't care if they were homeless. I didn't care. Didn't care. Suck it up, buttercup. That was my mentality. And there was, I'll never forget this. It was in 2015, 2 years later. I was sitting at my desk and I would look at, I had made this plan January 2015 because every holiday I would work. It just happened 2014 that my schedule, I landed on every single holiday long weekend I was working. And I'm like, I can't live like this. I can't do this anymore. So 2015, I made a commitment to myself and I was like, okay, I'm going to take 10% of my paycheck and I'm going to put in my savings and I'm going to forget about it. And I did that. And it came to the point where it was about June, end of June, end of June of 2015. I was looking at my savings account. I'm like, I need a shift. I have money to do something. I just don't know what that thing is going to be. So I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I looked at my bank account and I'm like, I can run away to Cuba for a weekend and still have enough money in there for something. I don't know what. I don't know. So I looked at my schedule. I'm like, okay, I got a 5 day weekend coming. I got a 5 day weekend coming in a couple of weeks. I have enough money to go away for 5 days to Cuba. 3 days is not long enough. 3 days is just a weekend getaway and that's it. But 5 days, 5 days is a good chunk of change for me to reset this. Um, so I booked it. I didn't tell anybody. And the week of me leaving, I actually told my family I'm gonna when the weekend comes for me, I'm going to Cuba. They were like, "Where did you find the money?" Well, I've been saving 110% of my paycheck every paycheck for since January, and I had enough money, and I have some money left over. They're like, "Okay, have fun." I didn't tell my work. Only people that knew was my pregnant sister at the time, my parents, and that's it, and my brother-in-law. Those are the three people that knew, and his sister and his parents knew, but yeah. So those are the only people that knew. So hopped on the plane, went to Cuba on the Thursday. And I was one day it was in the morning. I made a promise to myself in Cuba. What I wanted to do was go to bed early enough so I could wake up at 5 a.m. That was usually around 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I did that the first night. I woke up, I saw the sun come up. I'm like, this is amazing. And I would see every single sunrise and every single sunset. That was another thing. It wasn't up until the third day. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I was on the beach. The water was crystal clear and flat, like a little bit of a wave. Nothing bad. I'm like, oh, this is so nice. Walked into the water right up to my right up to my chest. And I see two silver torpedoes coming straight at me. I'm like, oh crap. And all I could think about was like, okay, it's too skinny to be a shark. Oh no, they're barracudas. And they literally just swam right past me, one on each side. I'm like, thank God I got out of the water. I'm like, something's got to change. What is this thing? And I would just it was just sitting on the beach. And then it came to me. I asked myself, what am I good at? Okay, I'm good at personal training, but I don't want to get back into the industry. I'm good at computers, but I can't get a job in IT because I don't have any qualification, quote unquote qualification. I have enough money to go back into school. So what do I want to take? Why don't I take IT? So I went, Why don't I take IT? So when I got back to Toronto, I put myself back in school. It was a 6 month program. It was a crash course program, got me a certificate and computer and IT management. And I was working nights, and in the morning, right after work, I would go straight to school till noon. So I would be up at the very least amount of time for 6 months. I would be up for about 20 hours. For 20 hours, I would be up overnight. Like you can be up 20 hours throughout the day and it's one thing, but when you're up 20 hours overnight, it's totally different and it's much tougher. So that's what I was doing for 2015 and 2016. I landed a job at a hospital. Well, I landed a volunteer position at the hospital, which ended up being a full-time gig. And yeah, 2021 came around. We all know what happened there with the pandemic, and I lost my job because of certain stuff. And here I am in Florida. Interesting how life takes weird turns because of unplanned. I don't want to call them unplanned, unseen at the time, how these things affect you. And the key point of this entire story, what I was trying to do, what I was trying to share with you, is that even though like right now may be crappy, it's crappy for a reason. And it's okay for you to live in the crappiness like I did for 2 years. But there has to come a point in time where something's got to give. And you've got to tell yourself, this has to change. Something's got to change. What is that something? I don't know. You probably don't even know at this moment. But one of the best things that you can do is remove yourself from the environment. And I've said this before this week. Remove yourself from the environment, put yourself somewhere else, and think about it. I'm not going to use the word meditate because I don't like that word. Just think about it, concentrate. The answer will come. You just got to think about it. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the farce around the lone wolf syndrome and my issues with it, because it is quite important for us guys to be the lone wolf, but we also have to understand that we need to be part of a pack as well. So that's coming up tomorrow. And I just want to thank you guys again for watching this episode. I know it was a little long, a little winded. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and share this episode if you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble. If you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, iHeartRadio, or whatever streaming service you are using, please give us a 5-star rating and a positive review, as it will help us reach out to more people that are suffering from mental health issues. Before you go, I'd like to invite you to keep the conversation going by signing up to your free account at PodInBox. Over the years, we've discovered that in order for us to achieve greatness that we were destined for, we can't do it alone. So in order for you to find your place back in this world, we've come across this amazing tool called PodInBox, where we can get together and discuss this topic even deeper. All you have to do is click on the link in the show notes and sign up for your free account and find out for yourself how powerful community really is. Until tomorrow, you guys have an awesome day.